for a quick stream. Excuse me. It's completely inappropriate. Excuse me. $2 trillion spending package the House is going to vote on. Uh, I don't even know what to tell you. I don't have a lot of faith. I think we're well beyond needing to fix all the bridges and shore up the American people. Hey, William, good to see you in the chat. Um, I think we're well beyond like more hope from these people. Meanwhile, the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict hasn't come in yet. Uh, I think they found him guilty um, because he killed two people and he maimed the third, right? And everybody isn't freaking a what's the word I'm looking for? A alt-right crazy person, right? Some people sort him on justice. Hey, what's up? Good to see you, Ted, in the chat. So yeah, I think they found them guilty. I think the question is what they found them guilty of. Um, it's funny that the the in another trial, the lawyer for Roddy Bryant thought that uh, Reverend Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson were intimidating the jury. Now I'm like, I say it again. How does saying that you have the National Guard on standby not intimidate? Right. So these are the kind of things that you're dealing with. That Arbery trial is still going on. I don't see how they don't get convicted. I just don't. Uh, but this whole Kyle Rittenhouse shooting thing is what I've been saying. You're letting people bring AR-15 to peaceful rallies for racial reasons under bullshit excuses, right? What you expect to happen? And now the opposition is like, we're not marching unarmed anymore. That's ridiculous. So now they're carrying us. Now you weaponize American politics. I remember when riots would break out, and they made it so that you can't have because in the '60s you used to have to you could have a protest sign with a stick, and then they use those sticks. So now that's why you see everybody now with placards, right, written on giant pieces of paper. But now you can't have a stick at it, but you can have an AR-15. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be really interesting. Uh, how do you put it down? An inspirational figure is one way, but usually you don't have an inspirational figure. Usually, what you have is the military, and they come through and charge people and arrest people, and you know that's what it is. Don't look, people. Stop thinking that America doesn't do dark shit that you see European countries doing all the time, especially when there's video as old as it may be, and as one group as it may be, um, being like had dogs sicked on them and fire hoses, right? But you also had like the cops beat up white protesters in the 1970 Democratic election. Was it 68? So it's not like people won't be violent. The idea that people bring AR-15s to protest rallies is ridiculous. And since racism is the fault line, uh, you're gonna let them bring it to like all these racial protests of I guess cop shootings, these killings. I think it's bad energy. You might want to get off this. Bring your guns and leave your poster sticks at home. Ted, I like your sports updates. Do you follow Michael? Okay, who's Michael Ote? What you guys have a side conversation happening over here, which is fine. um, so yeah, man. I don't know. I didn't even I didn't expect to stream tonight. I've been doing guitar stuff all day. Uh, I've also been neglecting cleaning up this room and my living room and my painting room because that's work and I was angry and pissy and I didn't do anything. Uh, I'm trapped at home because my car is in the shop. And this time I don't get a replacement. So now I'm just home watching westerns, writing shitty music, really, really shitty music. And that's what I do all day versus actually doing shit that I'm supposed to be doing. It is really just it is what it is, man. It really is. Um I expected to have it back today. Now they're talking about they need to hold it for 2 days. So today and tomorrow, I'll be back here tomorrow, angry and pissy. But what are you gonna do, right? Instead, where's my guitar? It's in the other room. Um, no, it's back there. Okay, good job. Uh, I was working on my guitar playing and watching a shit ton of videos when I should have been doing what I like to call adult maintenance, right? Um, but sometimes you're just kind of like, God damn it, I can't even fuck with that right now. I just can't. And that's kind of like the day I've had. I'm like, I don't have a car. I'm super fucking angry. I can't even right now. I'm just gonna piss the day away. Uh, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Because I wanted to run out and get something. I kept thinking, all right, I don't have a car. So yeah, didn't even get to peruse the news because I knew the news was gonna just make me crazy. Yeah, exactly. Agreed, Eric. Absolutely. Sometimes you just gotta let go and do some music therapy. I was just kind of like, ugh. I mean, it was such a day. I couldn't even sit down and watch Netflix. I tried to watch this. I'm a big fan of graphic novels, right? I tried to watch some of the first season of Cowboy Bebop, the cartoon, so I could get ready for the series. And I was just kind of like, I can't even. I think I got like 5 minutes in. Then I tried to watch. There's this another anime they have from League of Legends. I tried to watch that. I was like, I can't even do this right now. So instead, I did the dishes. Oh my god. So yeah, this yeah, I don't know. I need to fix my shit. I fully agree that I need to fix my shit. But I also fully know that uh procrastination is a thing and sometimes you just gotta let shit go and not have it, just weigh on you. Cause the car thing was one too many things. And sometimes you get there. It's one too many things. I'm not gonna carry anything now. And that's what it is. It's a natural, normal state. However, you can't stay in that state too long. It's like a day or two. If you have the luxury of 2 days, take them. But I'm gonna be back at it tomorrow. Uh, yeah, you can't stay. It's like being sad. Like, um, men don't cry is bullshit, right? If you loved your parent and your parent passed away, I get it's called grieving. I get that, but you can't wallow in it. Before you know it, you'll be in it for years and won't be able to get out. So you have to, I don't even know. Like when my dog died, I was sad for like 3 months. Uh, I cried every day for a month, and then I had to pull myself out of it. All right, um, over a dog, right? I didn't know I could be affected that way by an animal. And I was like, I gotta get my shit together, right? And I was like, no more, right? Uh, love that dog, goofy ass dog. But that's the way it is. And I think if you really think about it, I might have spent I mean, maybe 2 months too long, but I had the luxury of just kind of, you know, I'm thinking about this wistfully about this dog now. Who brought up dogs? All right, let's move on. All right. So and it's that, right? Me thinking fondly back on it in that moment, right, is why you have dogs. You love these animals. And you should be able to do that with people. So I can just imagine what it's like with parents and siblings and children, right? I can't even imagine. Um, but even so, you have to get back into the fight that is you and, you know, the society, humanity, crunching it out, knocking it out. Do you see one of Ted's update that Beckham Jr. has requested a trade from the Rams? Oh my god. The shit is a circus. All right. Here's a problem. I don't care how talented you are, there are other football players. Anybody remember oh, what's his name? Rice, right? Who slapped his girlfriend in an elevator? Like there was not going to be another running back available immediately, right? And he was another guy who got black, but he got black, not Jerry Rice. No, what was his name? I've got Rice in my head. Uh, I wonder if Ted would know if he was still in the chat. Um, I forgot his name. Anyway, he smacked his wife clean unconscious, clean unconscious, in an elevator fight. Between, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's just people just get goofy, right? I mean, they undid themselves. They could have been in football Hall of Fame and other. Now he's coaching football somewhere with a 1 year contract or whatever he made. And if they fire you, I don't think they even have to pay you the contract, right? So everything you worked for since junior high school, but all this violence for violence sake is bullshit. It really is. If some people need to fix themselves, uh, and you pay the price, right? A life altering price. I'm not gonna die on that hill though. I remember that. I was just kind of like, why would you even? Right? Why would you marry her if you got to knock her clean the fuck out like that? Um, the arrogant swag of that is ridiculous. Anyway, let's see what else we got. We didn't start the timer. Let's start the timer. So I used to number these things. They're not numbered anymore. They're now sort of like loosey goosey, and kind of I don't really know what the heck is going on anymore. I'm gonna come up with a system and a raison d'être, as they used to say, as they still say, for this sort of pod. Um, all right, hold on. Super important call. I'm sorry. Okay, so let me fill you guys in. This is a call from my car insurance company about my Jeep situation. Uh, I'm carless, and I sort of need them to fill me in. So I'm trying. I'll give you the update, but this has to take place now because she's scheduling like a complete fix for my car, which might cost about 9 grand. Um, so give me a few more. If this works out, my whole like 3 months might turn around, which is freaking impressive. Uh, even up with the app. So if this works out, but let's hope it works out. Something tells me this whole thing is going to look rosy as it does, and then all of a sudden there's going to be a giant snag, and it's all going to come to naught. But we'll see. We will see. Okay, the sound. Hopefully, the sound should be good. Again, I have I have to apologize. I do have to take this because I have no car, and they're getting me a car. Okay, I'm super sorry about that. That was 17 minutes. The timer said I had to talk to her. Uh, I have no car. She's got me a car, and she's gonna look into where my car is and what the issue is with that. While my car is there, they're gonna take care of the damage that I reported that they didn't take care of 2 weeks ago. So I might be able to get all of this taken care of and a new car, um, and not have to pay the 9 grand. But that is what insurance is for, right? because I was like, 9 like, what? I 9 grand? I mean, it's not brand new. I mean, I bought the car used, but the car was only a year and a half old when I got it. So it should still be under warranty. I mean, the warranty, your car warranty should last more than 5 years, and I haven't had it for like 5 years. So we'll see what happens. But I do have to make some phone calls tomorrow. Tomorrow. So thank you for holding on. Hey Milton, good to see you in the chat. I hope you're good. I hope you're well. Um, so yeah, again, once again, I super apologize, but I didn't want to end the stream and then start in 20 minutes. But I had to talk to her. Um, and I'm chatty. So like it's not like okay, she'll talk and I'll be back to you in 5 minutes, and like there'll be a 7 minute silence. I just kind of chit chat with her, and it's because then they're like, oh, that was a nice young man. Let me work just a slightly harder form because that's the way the world works, right? Versus a guy going, woman, why? God damn it! You know what? I'm just gonna take my time with this. I don't got time for this kind of crazy mean lady or mean guyness or whatever. But if you're like, oh man, that guy was funny, she was hysterical, she was awesome. Yeah, I'm just gonna work a little. I'm gonna make an extra call for you. My friend Todd, Bob, Jim, Bill, Harry, Abdul may know it, right? And that's the kind of life I try and live, right? I try and help where I can because I really do believe in karma as a Christian. I believe in karma, and I believe it helps out, and I believe it also take some of the gunk out of like my own soul. It may make amends for some of the bad times, that I may have gotten it wrong. So yeah, so I had to chit chat with her, and hopefully I think she helped me out. Tomorrow I may get a car, and I won't be trapped here. I am starving. Why am I starving? When did I last eat? What time is it? It's 7:30. I think I last ate. Um, I want to say noon. 3 meals a day, but I don't generally mess with 3 meals a day. I do a meal a day. All right, Haps, I'm beginning to get it. I sort of like this little box thing. I get it now, but everyone can have this kind of box thing. Um, Having issues with my camera. I have to bring another table. I'm gonna have to about to get rid of this that you don't see anymore, and put my art table and my old Mac, my iMac in here. And we're gonna really kick this fucking music slash film production shit off. I don't know if I should do what I did with my guitar learning. Have you watched me learn how to edit something? Um, but I've got enough co-conspirators. So my solo streams may be buffeted by like a new YouTube experience. But yeah, I gotta do something because man, when I talk politics, it makes my head hurt. It really does make my head hurt. Um, do it to it. Look for word scenes coming together for you. I hope so, man. You know what? I could really use a break from the cosmos. I really could. But then, when I say stuff like that, I often think, man, there's a lot of people who could use a break more than I could. But I would like some crumbs from that break. So, yeah, I want it for me, but I also get why. Like, man, some people have a hard way to go. Um, and I think the problem is people who have opulence when people are hungry. I think that's sort of part of the problem. So since I'm not hungry and I am clothed and I do have a roof over my head, I can't really be too because I'm not in a mansion in a Ferrari. First of all, I'm too old for like a fast car now. I will absolutely wreck myself in a fast car right now because I still like to drive fast. But my car choice is Jeeps. Um, and what else would I do at this point, right? I mean, all that shit is for young men. So I would probably get a nice spot and try and open up a school of some kind. And see, that's the weirdness of me. What kind of school would I open? Yeah, I got to figure OBS out so I can rearrange stuff on here with the new screen. Yeah, yeah. So you're going through it too. Apparently, there's a lot of us having like issues with it. But I mean, I really do hope that they let you choose between landscape. I mean, that's important. Um, and this looks like I'm on a in a call with on my phone, right? So it's all just really. I wish I had a housekeeper. I have ah, I have all this clean laundry strewn all over my bedroom, which I have to friggin' now iron and organize. I bought an iron 2 months ago. It's open and it's on the cabinet that I bought 2 months ago, where I was supposed to organize my life, like car stuff, and here's my car warranty, and still in an envelope, car warranties, and because I'm still sort of old school with writing stuff down and keeping a folder in a cabinet, because that's still an era that I feel good with. But everyone now just does it on their phone. They keep it in their head. They're a little more. So yeah, man, that's me. I'm one foot in the old world, quote unquote, one foot in the new world. Uh, how you doing, Milton, man? You own 2 schools in what other schools, Milton? That's I see, I wanna be able to like stuff. You can't even like stuff anymore. That's making me crazy. And yeah, exactly. Because you know what? You're absolutely right. Me too. Landscape is so great for artists. And let's face it, options are always better. So give us back that option. I agree. Um, I like to watch people play guitar, and you can't I want to see that both their hands. I want to see where they put their fingers, right, where they're fretting, but I also want to see what if they're stroking and what they're plucking. And what you get now is, you know, you might get this up here. Oh, let's move this and move this, right? Uh versus I mean, you know what I mean? Versus getting a lot more space the other way around. Let's raise this. Do we need to raise this? Okay. Right. So look I'm how far I'm about 4 inches away from my camera because I have a table here and a table here, mic here, here a table, there a table, everywhere a table, table. I was trying to learn this new thing that I discovered. Ugh. Anyway, 7, right? Where am I? 7. Yeah. Anyway, what were we talking about? We were talking about like landscape. Yeah, American Language Services. We are a prep school for Vietnamese who are coming to America to go to college. Oh, okay, that's cool. It's like we in the old '80s videos before all this internet thing. People like would watch rock and roll guys and you know want the camera guy to get like a nice shot so they could see what chords they were using, when they were how they were starting the car, when they were hitting the wah wah bar. All that stuff is sort of important. And as a new guy learning an instrument, ugh, ooh, ugh. As a new guy learning an instrument and trying to pick up a new hobby, ugh, they're really not helping me out. They really aren't. Here's the thing. I like to mix my whiskey with flavored carbonated sodas, right? Now I have to mix it with actual soda because I can't go walking to the place that I normally go. That's a 3 minute drive. Will take me 20 minutes to walk there and 20 minutes to walk back. I was like, it's the idea of that to me as a native New Yorker, right? Where I can go, I'm gonna leave my house. I would leave, I would give my dog a 20-minute walk, right? And we would leave and we will pass by at least 700 places to eat. At least 300 places to freaking like have a drink, at least 50 places to do your laundry, right? At least 10 dog spots. Just, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, I'm out of this. Oh, God damn it, I can't go anywhere. And then she called me saying, hey, I'm your Geico claims adjuster. How's your repair? Did they get both spots? I was like, no, they only got the back spot. Oh, why didn't they get the front? Well, because you said you wouldn't cover the front spot. Oh, well, that's not right. Well, yeah, you called and said you would, then you called back and said you wouldn't because they were two different. And do you want to both done? I was like, I can't pay two deductibles on this thing. It doesn't make any sense. And then she was like, well, we could get this second deductible down to $150, $200, uh, because it's no fault and it happened in the parking lot. And I was like, okay, then yeah, let's do that. But I can't do that to bring it into anybody because my car is on blocks at the Jeep station because they're talking about it might need a new steering column. I was like, what? First of all, it was knocking. That's why I took it in there. I had just had the oil change. It was fine. Then it started knocking. Then the engine light went on. Took it back to the place that did the oil change. Like, hey, now my engine light's on. Last thing that happened was you guys changed. Maybe you didn't tighten something up, but right. Oh, they checked it over. Engine light went out. Took about still knocking and pinging. I'm like, God damn it. So take it to like another place. And engine light comes on. They have the card. They're like, oh man, well we thought it was this, the knock knock ping ping, but it really looks like it's this, and that's going to be like $1,500. I'm saying yes. I was like $1,500, man. I was like, God damn it. So so I don't have the car. I'm not going to get a replacement. Geico doesn't do that. But then they called me. They were like, "Hey, about this claim." I was like, "Yeah, well, I'd love to have your adjuster look at it, but I don't have the car now because it's at the G spot." So she's like, "Why don't we do this? I'm gonna have him go over to the G spot, look at the car. I'm also gonna have him fix it, do the cosmetic damage when you get out for 200, um, or so, like a half of the whatever the deductible, 175. I think my deductible is $500. So you don't have to pay fine. I was like, all right, good, because I didn't really want to pay $1,000 last week. Um, I don't like dents in my shit. I don't know why, because on the side of my car, it's nothing but dents because people keep opening doors and hitting me. Um, so, and I sort of told myself I'm gonna have this car like 50 people had like a 57 Corvette until like the 1990s, right? I like the car. Man, the Jeep, there's a lot of nicer new ones. I was like, I could trade this thing in. Let's talk about trade-ins. So my car is in the Jeep shop, and they were like, man, wow, well, there's a shortage of used cars because the new used cars, the newer used cars, have chips in them. Um, and those are the kind that you want, GPSs, blah, 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 attached to your phone or whatever. Fewer of those cars, uh, and fewer new cars. So to get me, and nobody's buying new cars because people are broke. So to get me in a new Jeep, which I might do, to get me in the Jeep I was like 50 grand. I can't pay. Look, man, I'm not buying 50 grand. Like, no, no, I gotta better do something right. He was like, well, check out your old car. I think my car is probably worth, it's probably worth 15, 18, right? It's not worth 50. And the car that I was looking at that was amazing, Jeep Grand Cherokee, was 90 grand. And I was like, whoa. Yeah, Jeeps. I love Jeeps, and it was beautiful. It was a little, it wasn't luxurious either. It had like a fat, meaty engine, had giant tires. It was right versus like a Wagoneer or something like that. And I'm going to get into camping. I absolutely going to do it. Um, that's what I said for a used car, 50 grand for a used car that they wanted me to pick up. And the new one that I thought was amazing was 90. Um, but yeah, I think the used one that I was looking at was really nice, was 50. And the other 50s that were brand new, I sort of didn't like them. I was like, right. I don't. There's a couple of things. I had a Jeep before this That had a view screen in it, so when I backed up, I could see. This one, later model doesn't, but it's meatier, more it's more of a luxurious model. It doesn't have like a torque or anything. I'm from the mindset of just drop a heavier engine in it, do up the suspension, and you can rock out with your cock out. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but not everybody buys it as is. I don't mind. Like I was gonna put new rims in my, but my tires are new, and then this whole thing happened. I really want to set up like a small film house to shoot shit, but that costs money. So now my money seems to be going to this car, and I'm just kind of like, ugh. And then they were like, "Oh, we can get you in a car while they fix your car," which is great because I need a car. Uh, and they'll do it under the auspices of fixing this fender that hit me in when I almost first got the car. Um, Hit me in a parking lot here in Virginia, and we'll do that for like 25% of my deductible. So I'm like about 20, about 125% of my, not 100%, I like, but 35 to 40% of my deductible, which is great. Uh, but man, those new Jeeps, I was like, whew. The classic Jeeps are good too. Love Jeeps. I had a 1997 Jeep Wrangler for 11 years. Put t- 33 1050s on it. Loved having that view. What do you drive now? I don't see how you could drive anything else after that. I mean, because I feel like I had one in New York, and I feel like the potholes were not a problem, and it was small enough to park in places, and yeah, and now here in the country, I hit I have a sport option in in my Jeep. I hit the highway, I throw it into sport, it just kind of and it's just the best thing. So now I'm wondering if I could do that off road. But I'm not really gonna off. I'm not off roading. It's just it's nice to have a Jeep though. It's nice to have a car that you don't it doesn't have to fuck with potholes. And my car is small here because everyone's got a. Even my brother-in-law, he's got an F-150. Them things are ginormous, and you can. I mean, we're Americans, right? You customize the car as it's sort of like a part of your psyche. Some of them tires are, whew. But like the Jeep I was looking at, that was like uh 65 and new was a Cherokee four-seater, the ones where you can take the doors off and then take the hoods off, like more like a safari, like um tires with giant. Yeah, yeah. My thing is like when I got my car, I knew that I was going to be on the highway, and those cars rattle. I mean, I'm sure they don't rattle anymore, but like in the old days, they used to let all this air in, and in New York, turning on your heat was pointless because they weren't as sealed as they are. So when I bought my car, I like first of all, you have to have a sunroof. Always have a sunroof. Uh, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just get the Grand Cherokee, which is just kind of like one fat giant. I could drop the back seats down, um, and fuck around if I want to throw a bed in there, go camping. And now I'm thinking, talking to Brian, uh, yeah, I'm gonna absolutely do that as soon as I get this car back. but so yeah, that call took 17 and a half minutes. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I really owe you guys. But yeah, this is fast becoming like a pod, a daily pod of like doing shit. So we're learning the guitar. Who was I talking to today? No, I was talking to Brian yesterday. He may pick up a bass, acoustic bass, and teach himself that. Uh, I might get a. I want to get a mandolin just because it's smaller, and I could have it in the car with me versus a guitar to still try and learn. Because the whole point of this thing was to learn music, not to learn guitar. So, but I think my music reading is coming along well. I'm doing it at my own pace. I wish high school and junior high school was like this. Well, you could graduate at your own pace between 3 years and 5 years. After that, you got to get your ass out of here, right? I think most people would still do 4 years, but if you knew the pressure wasn't on, maybe we all be less stressed and less crazy and less cockeyed about the world. Um, Give me a second. Ugh. Alrighty, alrighty, alrighty. All right. Whew. Sorry about that. Ooh. All right. So, man, I'm really hoping that this works out. Some because the last time they did this to me, they were like, "All right, we'll get both of these things on the car," and then like as the car's in the shop, I get that they like text me, "Yeah, these are two different claims, and we won't do it on the one claim." I'm like, "All right, just do the back rear one." Um, to keep it moving because the thing was hanging out in the whole bit and it was a giant dent and the paint was fucked up. And I was like, I had gotten used to the one in the front anyway. So I was like, just do the back one. Now they're calling me back on saying they're going to fix them both. Yeah, just get me a car so I can not be trapped in a house with myself. Because between you, me, and the wallpaper, sometimes the company is a little ridiculous. I'm the kind of guy who argues with himself. Ugh, this guy. Ugh. I don't know who any of these people are. Maybe that's a sign of getting older. Who, Heath Freeman. I don't know what any. I would love to look up Jeeps and show you some of these things are fucking beautiful. If I actually had money like that, as we say in the hood, I would definitely have like a ballin' ass Jeep, just kind of like an SRT, like monster. Yeah, ridiculous. First of all, I can't believe that Aaron Rodgers got to play last week. He was suspended for like one. He wasn't even suspended. He had to sit out one game because of and then he came back to man. Whew, no game suspensions. I don't know are they even gonna lose any it don't make any sense. If Netflix isn't careful, they're gonna ruin their brand by all these movies. Leonardo DiCaprio has a space movie on Netflix now. US judge rejects Trump's tariffs on imported solar panels. Yeah, so the establishment, which is crooked, is out to get Trump, I believe. Um, That had nothing to do with his behavior or the shit he said and did in office. It just shows you more corruption on top of more corruption, quite frankly, in my opinion. Um, Mississippi man posted online about planning a mass murder at church, authorities say. What is wrong with you people? Fix yourself. Do we even want to read this? Mississippi man posted online about planning mass murder at a church, authorities say. He should have just got a Jeep and a girlfriend and a dog. Those three things would change your life. Um, A Mississippi man has been arrested and charged with making terroristic threats after he posted on social media about planning a mass murder at his church authority. At his own church, authorities said. Now here's the question. Here's a philosophical question for you guys. Should his church forgive him? I'm looking at the chat. Should his church forgive him? What time is it? 31:22. We're gonna give a minute of silence for you to ponder this. A mass murderer is gonna shoot you all in church. Should you forgive him? Your church. Go ahead. Got 40 seconds left. Should I even interrupt this? We should just interrupt this, right? Um, the church should forgive him, but they should ban his ass from ever walking in that building again. How can you trust that guy? Right? Yeah, churches should forgive, but let's not be ridiculous, is all I'm saying. Uh are we even gonna read this? Do we even have to read this? I think we've come to the meat of the story, quite frankly. Ugh, I'm getting notifications about other people's streams. That's not good. Upon further investigation, it was determined an individual made comments on social media platform that he was planning a mass murder at his church the next Sunday, the very next Sunday. The post was not specific as to which church, just that it was his church, the sheriff department said Monday. Evans was taken into custody without incident on November 12th. He had been charged with making terrorist threats a felony and been held in a Lee County detention center on a $100,000 bond, which he does not have. Uh, Jail records show it's unclear Tuesday if Evans had obtained legal representation. The sheriff department thanked the FBI for their swift action in relaying this information and their assistance. The actions taken upon receiving this information prevented the potential act from being carried out. Such threats are always taken seriously and will not be tolerated. Huh. You should have the ability to do what you're saying. I'm just, I mean, people talk left all the time. If the whole of America is a free speech zone. Granted, some people say stupid shit, but does that mean that they should go to jail for 50 years for it? You better watch that shit. Granted, you should have some discipline in what you say and how you say it and when you say it and where you say it. Don't get me wrong. But some of this just looks like bullshit games played by, you know, the establishment. We have real serious issues and they keep telling us, they keep hovering over the issues the issues that are not serious, right? This random dude, did he even own guns? Did he have the ability to do it next week? You know, was he just talking shit? Was he another sad boy? Could you just drag him into court and go, look, we're gonna put you on probation, and you won't be able to use fucking the internet for 6 months. We got an eye on you. Get back to your stupid life and watch what you fucking say, and watch me go, yes, Your Honor, and go back to being an average meek citizen like we all are. But now he faces what, 30 years in prison? This society is if it is not careful, will end itself on its own giant pile of nonsense. Just fix the problems, like I always say. You know, f- defund the police. Shut up. The cops shouldn't be allowed to kill people. You don't need slogans. Enforce the law. No, we're not going to do that. So the problem isn't so much every cop on the ground, quite frankly. The problem is the people above them that allowed this kind of nonsense to go on. Workers walk out as board company stands behind Activision Blizzard CEO accused of covering up sexual abuse. See, look, man, I'm for you having a gig, but like the workers demanding that the board do stuff can get a little ridiculous, right? It gets to be tantrums, and at some point, I don't. I mean, you ruin your own ecosystem with this shit. Everybody's at war with everybody over everything. Workers should quit, but workers need to make sure that the place they work is good and clean, and you can go to the bathroom, and you're not being made a slave to the wage work. But who's on the board is not your business, unless you're a stockholder, right? You can quit if you find out. Oh, the whole board is full of pedophiles and sycophants. I'm out of here. I'm not working for the. What you gonna owe? We demand someone quit up there at the top where you make $7 million a month. And I mean, this is why the real shit doesn't get looked at. Daniel Baldwin defends brother Alec Baldwin after Rush shooting. I'm just gonna put your defense under family ties. But we already went through this. We went through this 3 weeks ago. Are we gonna re go through this? Let's re go through this. All right, hold on. So the way I see it, this whole thing is because of um, the gunsmith who was a 24-year-old woman whose father had 50 years experience. It was her second movie. It's her fault. Not it's not the what's his name? Assistant director fault for handing him a gun. Even as he said what he said. Um Not his fault. It's not him to make sure the guns are not loaded on set. The idea that you're going, oh, we're going to talk about guns on set and should there be real and using that's not the point either. They've been using real guns since movies started being movies. You know, it's that. So now you're going to dig up Brandon Lee and Alex Hexum. I forget his first name. It wasn't Alex. Um, the actor John Eric Hexum was his name, and their deaths, right? But you're not going to talk about like I want to say 3 months ago, not 3 months ago, 3 years ago, the woman was fucking maimed, her face ripped off, and she lost an arm, right? Did you going to say maybe we shouldn't be using real cars? Maybe we shouldn't be doing real wheelies on these real, you're just fucking with the bullshit just to keep a story alive and to keep it rocking until someone goes missing. Um, at the end of the day, who's responsible? The gunsmith, the person who checks the guns and brings them on the set. They're responsible. Every time you have a gun, you put it down and you look that way and you look back over. You're supposed to pick it up, make sure it's empty. You ought to be super paranoid about guns. How's it not her fault? How's it not her fault? Why? Because she's 24 and she's a white lady. I mean, look, you want a fair justice system. It's shit like this that subverts it. If you're modern women and we're all in the same bucket, when shit like this happens, horrible shit like this happens, you can feel as bad as you want, but she shouldn't be allowed to circumvent the system because everyone who does it, there's less and less faith in it. It's her fault. She's 24. It's a shame, but it's her fault. The idea that is anybody else's fault is ridiculous. It's not Alec Baldwin's fault. He's the actor. He's not supposed to have the job of checking his own gun. You walk up to the movie set, as an actor and a big budget star, and Tom Cruise is hanging outside the airplane wings. It's not his job to make sure the flaps on the airplane work. You know what I'm saying? It gets sort of ridiculous as how people give these ridiculous narratives. You know, this kind of energy. I think we're streaming to all channels. Should we even check? Edit destinations. Oh, nope, they're both running. Let's do this. Present on stream, coming soon. Tell me when soon is. Um, so yeah, hopefully I'll get this car. Hopefully by the end of the week I have that whole thing in here and that out there and rearrange my painting room. And then some days I'll paint and some days I'll draw and kind of try and talk to you guys to, you know, take control of the situation. You have to take control of the situation. And by that I mean, if you did, you wouldn't be fucking going to alt-right rallies, and these ladies wouldn't be twerking, right? Those dudes wouldn't be bullies. That maybe we can all kind of agree to like fucking just chill. And by that I mean we all know what the bad shit is. Just chill. And all get to be different. Those people like a lot of sex. Those people don't like very much sex. Those people don't like any sex. We can all live together. Versus those people who are conniving sex out of the workers or doing this absolutely arrogant, mean shit in Hollywood, right? And then those people get covered up. So you have to look around who's doing what, and how the game is played. And the game is played by telling you that your enemy is these other people and whatever I I'm not even call it predilection. Well, it's a predilection, but whatever quirk they have in their whole kind of like some people don't like that I drink, right? I don't that predilection. I don't care, but I don't like that you do cocaine, right? And you may go, but cocaine is addictive, and people say, "Oh, well, alcohol is addictive." And you get into one of these semantic bullshit. So now, since cocaine is legal, and not cocaine, since alcohol is legal, cocaine is legal. Since alcohol is legal and weed is legal, then maybe we just fuck with the people who do legal shit, right? So now you can't really. You used to like to squawk at the weed smokers, but now since weed is legal everywhere and becoming more so everywhere, the stigma of that will die off, but then they'll still be on cocaine, right? And who knows, maybe in fucking 25, 30 years, cocaine will be legal. You'll be just buying it out of your Walmart or um, they're trying to make gambling here in Virginia legal. And gambling is just as addictive as any narcotic, right? So as long as you can maintain whatever your issue is without having to sell your soul, your body, or lose everything to your gambling addiction or drug addiction or sex addiction or crime addiction or whatever your addiction. No, no, we don't want crime. Whatever your other weird shit is. I mean, that's it. Maybe we should care less about what our neighbor is doing and care more about what the government is doing. And the government is not giving us much of what we need. And what we need is term limits. What we need is I think universal health care. We need Medicaid expansion. We need education reform. We need prison reform. We need somebody to look into the military industrial complex. They get all the money. And we need to punish people who get it wrong. No one ever get who at their level, whoever gets it wrong is ever punished. That Afghanistan thing was a debacle. 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 I mean, like I said a couple of days ago, the Taliban had a military parade with all this American equipment. I was just kind of like, you know what? You couldn't write this shit. If Hollywood had written this in a screenplay, I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? That is, I'll say, so America's going to leave $1 trillion worth of equipment. Shut up. That's ridiculous. No one's going to buy that. Bam, here it is. No one's, no general has been asked questions. I mean, it's at this point, like I said, it's a golf course, right? And this is their golf course, and you are the riffraff, and you shouldn't be here. And if they could do away with you, they would. But that's not the way the place works. Cannot make this shit up. Outrageous. So I was side note music. So I was learning these chords today, right? Chord progression. What is it? Uh what is it? A, E, D. Um so I was learning that today. And then someone told me uh it's also down here, right? But movable chords. My thing about movable chords, if you know this, is like if this is an F, movable chord, right? Ew, let's get it right. F. So my question is this, right? This finger right here. This calls the note, right? So this would be, what is this? This is my D string, right? So this is E. No, this is F. This is F. So this is G because this finger is on G. Eric, are you in the chat? Help me out with this. Because I was watching somebody do it and I was trying to figure out why. So it's always I can't even call it the root note. Is this even the root note? Nope. Hmm. I want to say it is. I think I want to say I'm right, but man, I gotta tell you, I'm. It's been 6 months. I'm slowly sliding into chord progressions, but then someone hit me with movable bar chords, and I was just kind of like, "What does that even mean?" And somewhere in there, there was C over E chords and E over C over A chords, and I was just kind of like, "What does that even mean?" Um, I'm pretty sure you could learn this in a linear form, but my patchwork quality, where I kind of go, "Oh, I learned that," and I get it now. It may take longer, but I think it's more fun in my head. I feel like it's Saturday because normally Saturdays I don't leave the house. I really don't. I live in a beach town and I never leave the house. It doesn't make any sense. Uh, but can I even put my foot in this thing? I guess I could. Um, I don't leave the house, and now on a freaking Tuesday. Yeah, I also need to practice my bar chords, which is just, which this is my A. You left after 3 days. What, you had to go out and get provisions? Dude, you have like the best life. I left my cabin day after 3 days at home in the So where'd you go? What you do? Ah, nice. You went to the salon. I love it. Dude, you're awesome. All right, so let's stop noodling with that. Uh so yeah, I don't even know. Like I'm trying, like this whole thing started with me trying not to be crazy like by following politics, but at this point I say it on this pod all the time. They used to hide the bullshit better. Now they're not even clever about hiding or blaming. It just seems to be arrogant stupidity. Like all the people who are in charge just make you go, ugh, really? Like there was a story in I want to say Riders about Joe Biden falling asleep and passing gas at the around these diplomats, and they of course ran to their newspapers, right? But it didn't appear in American newspapers, and I was just kind of like, you know, even if you disagree with Barack Obama whole stance, when he showed up in Europe, they just wanted to be near him, right? It was very much fucking high school, right? And at this point, the people who represent us I just, I don't know, man. Maybe he's the last of his age, right? But what about the rest of them? All these 30 and 40-year-old lawyers who just want to be in Congress, who don't know what the fuck they're doing. If that keeps up, you know who takes over? The military. Because the military knows a lot of shit, not just how to fire a gun. They balance their budgets, they build shit, not just bridges across, like, you know what I'm saying? They can enforce and they have their own judiciary and police departments, right? Yeah, this whole thing is ridiculous. So yeah, I think we're gonna have to freaking vote in a whole new crop of people because the people we have now are just not serious. Well, they're putting there by money, exactly. Cash by corporatists. They're corporatists. They're corporatists, and that's the problem. All lawyers and corporate Pete Buttigieg, shut up, right? No, absolutely not. I absolutely refuse. I uh, like I would like no with Hillary. I was like, well, that's true. I would no with Hillary. I was like, but I was no with Kamala Harris, and the people who came in fourth and fifth are running the country, right? And it's like we were saying, look, if everyone in chat ran for office and won, by the time you get to Washington to your respective party, whichever party you ran for, they're going to try and undo you to make you more of what they want, and they just want to stay there forever. So then your next fight is to find allies and take to slay these dragons, right? You are now, Frodo with the power of the ring, and that ring is the vote that got you there. So now, how are you going to kill this dragon? They undo people. Look, they corrupted AOC, right? I believe she had all this fire and energy, and now she's just a famous two-term senator, right? Like, who can change it? Who can honestly change it? They shut down Obama as a president, right? They essentially shut down Trump as president. He did a lot of, and he signed everything they wanted. So the power, I think, really lies in Congress, and I think they're the problem, right? They can say forever, but the president can't, right? They all have these fiefdoms. They all agree to run like their own kingdoms, and yeah, I don't think it can stand. Politicians are reflections of a society. Yeah, shitty people are shitty people. We make shitty, greedy people in America. Yeah, it could completely be the opposite way. It could completely be the opposite way, and it's not. Yeah, it's like, look at the cops. It's not. Look, these are people from your society, and here's the sad thing to say about it: those people are also in your army and in your intelligence department and in your military, your army and your military, your military and your intelligence agencies and in your colleges. Some people are just fucking stupid, and they never pay a price for their beliefs. So now you've let racial ridiculousness bleed out after 300 years of not instead of dealing with it, because your whole position was, I'm not even gonna, I'm just gonna get rich and fuck those people, right? But when a war breaks out, all of a sudden we're all Americans. So now you have to seriously deal with these people who are a problem to one group forever, now trying to, like, bully and threaten, people from the political sphere, which they normally just let rot. And the last time it was like this, it was the Civil War. So everyone's unhappy. Democrats are unhappy with the Democratic Party. Republicans are unhappy with the Republican parties, and both groups have been taught that it's war with the other party. So who you going to get to tell people to calm down? Kyle Rittenhouse shot three people, three white people. All right, they could have easily have been black. These father son and their next door neighbor, like Fred Flintstone and Bam Bam, just shot like this guy jogging through the neighborhood claiming he was stealing. You can't kill somebody for stealing. You can report me, maybe you can catch me if you can, but you can't blow my brains out. You don't have the right to steal, to right to kill somebody for stealing anywhere in the country. especially shit that's not yours. You can defend your life and property. It wasn't your shit. And on top of that, he had no bag or tools or anything that you said a thief would have that he was stealing, right? So the whole environment of what you let people believe themselves to be has come back to bite you. And this is where we are. Thank you, man. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, this and look, and I say this all the time. You sit there in your cauldron. It's like weed smoking. You ever sit in a car with your friends and smoke weed? Eventually, if the guy who isn't smoking weed is giggling too, right? You hotbox, right? Racism is like that. So you sit in this little pristine environment because you don't want anybody to know, and you talk all this evil racial hatred, and then eventually you will act on it, right? It will fucking come for you. It is toxic shit to deal with, and I've always said, as a guy from New York, I bet racist fucking guys who end up meeting a nice Spanish girl, a nice Asian girl, a nice white black girl, right? And all of a sudden they're like, you get them high, not high, but you get them like drunk in a bar, because weed is expensive. But you get them like drunk and like you have a good time. You meet them 8 and 9 times, and they're like, you know, man, I grew up in Nebraska. Everyone around me was in the Klan, da 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 da. And I, wanted to get out, and then I went to college here, and now I'm a XYZ. And yeah, their worlds open up. And I think that's a lot of it. But there's also money involved in hate. I can sell you t-shirts and fucking rap records and podcasts. But before I was a nobody working at, the tire station with no way out. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And America has let it fester. And now all of a sudden people rush the front. I gotta tell you, a lot of shit in my life I have seen, and rarely have I been like, what the fuck? Like one of the most amazing things I've seen was the Challenger blow up. I was like, did that I was with my friend, well, he was my friend Brian, who's now a Catholic priest. And it was my birthday week. And I was just kind of like, it was like 20 degrees in New York. And it was uh break. And I just went over to his house because he was a giant influence on me at the time. And we were watching this thing, and I was like, it's amazing that these things. I was like, yeah, da, 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 da. And the whole thing blew up. And we were like, did that just happen? And then we burst out laughing. I guess out of this weird nervousness. And then we stopped laughing, and then we just talked about it for like the next like 5 hours. And as we hung out in his house, my friend Eric came over and we're like, "Did you guys?" And then, but yeah, and then I saw this. I was like, "Are these motherfuckers running up in the?" I just could not, and I just could not. Man, the Vietnamese in Vietnam, North Vietnamese do not like South Vietnamese. South Vietnamese do not like North Vietnamese. This is bigotry, not racism. Both are a sad aspect of human nature. Yeah, yeah. Look, these like I said this before this podcast. Like Asian people have their own issues. Okay, Asian people have their own issues. Like the Japanese has invaded China several times, right? The North Koreans didn't like the Chinese. Um, and didn't like the Japanese. They have all this internal. They're not just Asians, like they all just was one people, right? Look at Africa. Africa is, yeah, Africans, but they all have a different issue. Look at Europe. Europe carved out boundaries. They all have different issues. How do you get everybody on the same page? I think is just that guy, whoever or girl, whoever does a Bill and Ted kind of like, maybe we should stop having wars. And everyone goes, what? I never thought that guy's and before you know it, like everybody's de-escalating like some weird kind of like sci-fi book or whatever. Yeah, it's gonna be that. But until then, we're supposed to be civil enough to fix our own shit, and we don't. This climate thing, look, man, we ruined our own terrarium. and we know the people who did it, and they're still making money off ruining it. And we haven't ran up in there and hung them from the rafters. The world would be better. I just saw an article today about cleaner nuclear energy, and I was like, "Who the fuck wrote this?" It's just kind of like, oh, cleaner nuclear. We're still storing nuclear waste um in underground mountains. So I think the thing that we might need here is to be able to like take that nuclear waste and make it something, right? An unbreakable casing and with like a drop of nuclear waste in it. It's a battery that lasts, 100 years. They don't want that, right? Maybe you can take that nuclear waste, convert it into like jet fuel or something, and as it exits the rocket fuel, it goes 5 times as fast, right? And then somehow makes it not radioactive, right? That way you can get rid of something for. I mean, these are wishful dreams, but in the real world now, what you're doing is essentially storing nuclear waste at the bottom of a mountain for about 200,000 years. And what will eventually happen in the future, if we're still here after society falls, is it will bleach and leak and somehow get out, taint a water system, be disturbed by an earthquake, by a whole group of people who didn't know was there, and then you just poison off a whole bunch of shit. I mean, you gotta. I mean, we can't. It's like plastic. Plastic is the same thing, just not as crazy. Uh like because it's not nuclear waste, but it's just you got to be able to do something with the plastic instead of just keep making it. And we all know it's bad. You know what I mean? It's like why I never understood. Okay, we know cigarettes cause cancer. Why are we still selling fucking cigarettes? Why don't we ban cigarettes? Personal freedom. Don't give me that person. If personal freedom is the case, then it's your personal freedom to be a drug addict, and you should be able to buy heroin at the local, 7-Eleven. Do you know they sell wine at 7-Eleven? When did that start happening? But yeah, but we have limits, and before you know it, we're just gonna be. I don't know what we're gonna be. I really don't. But yeah, yeah, we need something like you just drop it in like to the fuck something that breaks shit down on like a close to molecular level, um, and then you could repurpose it, right? But like, oh man, you gotta do something about the plastic. Our plastic situation is ridiculous. I mean, we make trash. We're at the point now where I grew up and they're like, where does the winning Super Bowl T-shirt go? Not the winning, the losing Super Bowl T-shirts go. And then like you see all these kids dancing in Africa wearing like a Super Bowl Buffalo Bills Super Bowl jersey, and you're like, oh wow, that's messed up. Now they're like, don't send that shit here. Yeah, we're done. We used to send our trash to China. China's like, yeah, we don't want your crap anymore, but we're still generating trash. No one has any ideas, but they all want. Going back to our original comment, no one has any ideas, but they all want to be in Congress, and that's essentially where we are. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, uh, especially with what I would consider a planet altering, which is essentially life altering event for all life on the planet going forward, whether you are here now or won't be here for 50 years, right? That whole that whole Glasgow summit, I was just kind of like, so all the people who aren't doing jack shit are all going to meet together to agree not to do jack shit. Is that the way that's going? That's exactly what happened. Yeah. No one should be using coal. It's a fucking emergency. Uh, but then you'd have to take up that shortfall. What are you going to do? How are you going to help them? They're just going to be cold and hungry in the winter. That's bullshit. You had no plan. They have no plan for themselves. You have no alternative plan for them. And all these giant conglomerates who produce a lot of oil and drilling and digging for gold and diamonds or whatever the fuck they're doing, uh, don't want to be pestered by the government. They really don't. Uh, so yeah, we'll see what happens. And I think what we're going to get down to is I don't want to say the survival of the fittest or anything like that. So dire. But we're gonna get down to wars for shit. Right. It's always been wars for land, but now that so many people are leaving, people are gonna push into those places that people are fleeing to restructure those governments so people stay where the fuck they are with the support of the people this time. Um, Everybody's leaving Belarus. Yeah, uh, people are trying to pour up from El Salvador and Mexico proper, right? We can handle that if we really wanted to. Uh, we'll see what happens. You've got chicken coop. I can't see now that you wrote chicken coop. Eric Hype wrote chicken. Be right back. I forgot to close the chicken coop. Uh, all I see is chicken soup. Hello, Nurse Blondie. Good to see you. Yeah, yeah. Here's the thing about that. When the people have had enough of them, their day is done. I mean, they're completely outnumbered. And that's why I don't get. This is why I always say, look, if you're doing a good job in government, I don't care that you're cheating on your wife. I kind of don't because you got universal health care and a better college system, right? I kind of, but if you're up there doing anything and being an asshole like that, then why am I feeling sorry and want to keep you there? So the Democrats have this problem of, oh, you need to vote Democrat down the line, but the idea is you're not the person to do what you said you do. So now I need other people, which both ways gets you pushed out of the mix, and you should be pushed out of the mix. So yeah, look, if my taxes were down and I had health care, better college system, a relook at uh, the banking system here and the criminal justice system, um, yeah, I wouldn't care that you looked at the Wall Street and made a little more money than a senator should. I'd be like, yeah, he's a good senator. You know, I have a PhD because of that dude, or I was able to buy a house or start a business because of that dude. But they're not doing anything but getting rich, and that's all they're doing. And as long as you're fulfilling your job description and caring and kind, I don't care who you kiss. Exactly. I agree with that completely. But once I just find out that you're doing nothing and what you're doing is only for you, then I'm spiteful and angry at you, and that's just human nature. I think that's just human nature. I don't think that people in Congress, you know, I don't think they have any ideas, and now the game is to stay there as long as possible by making you afraid of your neighbor, which is just the worst American thing to do, right? It really is just the worst thing to do. Um, but they both do it because they're both the same. I was talking to Brian about this yesterday. They're both the same. They're both arms of like the capitalist system, right? And it's slightly a different shade of crappy rainbow wherever you are in the country, right? And whatever side of the political fence you're on. But at the end of the day, like they all take giant money, Republicans and Democrats, from the corporatists, and the corporatists don't want to pay taxes. They want to keep giving putting plastic in. Why we could have went back to glass bottles, right? I'm pretty sure like the broken bottle thing went way down once they moved to plastic. But since plastic is destroying everything, maybe glass bottles would be wise, right? Maybe some of the stuff that we did away with uh, as we march toward progress should be rescinded. Not, like you look and you go, oh, well, we can't use that. Like we tried to use tigers for guarding the front gate. Um, but every now and then they eat somebody's 5-year-old, so we've stopped using that. Now we use guards. Oh, okay. So we were doing well with training all this stuff. We went a little too far, then we came back with guards and guard dogs. Okay, great, I got you. Versus just marching. No, we're gonna keep the lions. Um, and I think that's what it is. We like the Coke bottles and the nuclear energy. We need to we need if I think if the government said, all right, we're gonna have a cold fusion nuclear prize, right? If you can come up with cold fusion, I don't care if you're a farmer working on it as a hobby in your basement, or an MIT kid, the government will give you $1 billion, which is fucking no money for any government, right? Uh, I think within 15, 20 years, you would have one. Because I think I want to say the King of Spain was like, if anybody can come up with like a something that keeps time as you go across the seas, we'll give you like the equivalent of like 200 to $20 million back in like the 1600s. If the government can't do it, someone out in the ether should know how to do it. All right, you take care of yourself. Enjoy dinner. What are you having for dinner, by the way, if you don't mind me asking? I hope you're still there. It'd be wonderful to know because I need a dinner idea. Um, yeah, man, it's just ooh, nice. Panda Express. Nice. Huh. What time is it? Can I order Panda Express? Oh, it's a quarter to 9. All right. We're gonna wrap this up in the next 15 minutes. Um, yeah, that's I'm like, yeah, I'm like, that sounds like a plan, actually. Uh, we may end up sooner than 10 minutes. All right, so remember, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, thank you, thank you. Uh, bye bye. Have a good night. So, uh, yeah, it's I think I've always thought the cure. I've got the answer. Like I've always thinking about the problem, then I always have an answer. I think what we need to do is more. I think Congress should be full of average, everyday people, and there should be term limits on how long you can serve. Um, and it should be a rarity that people send you back to Congress because you're so great. And if you do, then they should want to run you for president, right? But it shouldn't be this team sport of animus and anger at your fellow Americans. It's just a recipe for disaster. It really is. Whether it take 10 years or 110 years, it is still a fucking recipe for disaster. Uh, I am hungry, so I think this is where we're going to end the stream. We have been streaming for I want to say what time is it? 8:41. We've been streaming. I think we showed about like 7, so we've been streaming for like an hour and 40 minutes. We don't number the streams anymore, but that's all right. Uh, I hope you like and subscribe to all my channels. Where is that thing that I had? Oh, here it is. Uh, like and subscribe on all my channels, please. That would be super duper helpful. Truest Armor on YouTube and Karma Armor on Twitch. Um, I think I'm gonna put some food in my system and try not to think about. Look, I'm mind on the positive. I think my insurance carrier is gonna fix my car issue. Um, and my warranty is gonna cover the damage. I'm just gonna go with that instead of then if it doesn't, then I'm like, oh fucking it. But I'm just gonna go with that. And when it works out, it's gonna be the light to start my positive thinking career. Ah, see, I knew it was gonna work out and it worked out. Versus me being doing what I always do, where I'm like, it's not gonna work out. I knew it wasn't gonna work out. Not gonna be that guy anymore. Positive with it. Gonna learn guitar. Gonna get my car fixed. Gonna start camping. Gonna learn how to song structure. Gonna start writing again. Gonna shoot some stuff again. All the hobby that kind of gets me away from talking about Joe Biden all the time, who is not going to get reelected. He's not going to get reelected. Neither is Kamala Harris. She would have to leave. He would have to pick a new vice president to run with. She would then have to pick a vice president to run with. It's going to be a shit show. Um, I don't think he's going to be around for the next presidency. I don't. But if he does linger, and people do linger, uh, he was sort of coddled in the last election cycle. They kind of like stemmed Trump from actually talking like he did when he won the title, right? We're putting mute buttons and censorship and all this bullshit on a presidential election like the media was in charge, and look at this shit show now. Come on, man, that's all he had when he didn't have an answer, right? So if he comes back, what are you going to do? All that against Donald Trump? It stands to be an amazing time in 2020. Like, man, the 2024 presidential election is going to be a thing. Uh, excuse me. It's going to be a thing. I mean, he said he's going to run again. Maybe they get him to somehow bow out. Okay, but then it's going to be her and who? Her and Buttigieg. Neither one of them are liked. Meanwhile, even if it is them, it's going to be Trump against the whole Republican field again. Oh my God. Oh my God. So they're trying to paint him first as he ran, they tried to paint him as a racist. Now they're trying to paint him as a racist secessionist dictator wannabe. Right? I don't think any of that holds water, but man, yeah. Whew. 2023, here we come, baby, baby. Oh my God. I don't gamble, but I need to learn how to gamble so I can put my money on the presidential election because I've been calling them right for so long. Why do you keep doing this? But meanwhile, the enemies are at the gate and they get more aggressive and more at us. And we have this kind of nonsense going on with this new class of sort of royal American royalty. Whew. All right. So that's about it. It's 8:45 here in Virginia. Uh, we're gonna wrap it up. I think I'm gonna go get me some Panda Express as well. Well, I'm not gonna have it delivered DoorDash because I don't have a car. Good idea, nurse. I would like to thank you for that dinner idea. I want to thank everyone for coming through. Please like and subscribe one more time with a high end, super special effects. Look at the graphics. Look at the graphics. Oh my God, you can barely stand it. We'll see you probably tomorrow. We've decided to do 5 days a week, just to kind of clear our heads because we have been streaming every day since June until the apocalypse, the apocalypse, which was Veterans Day. I feel like I was a veteran of the wars, but now here we are with a portrait landscape and no respite from it. And we're gonna do our thing. And Eric mentioned chicken coop, and I've been thinking about chicken soup ever since. What is going on with me? All right. I want to thank everyone for coming through. Um, I want you all to have a good evening. I will likely see you tomorrow. Um, have a good night. See you in the next one. The next one's tomorrow.